Hey,
Can you hear us now?
we're
It
back.
looks like it's working.
The little green
Hello.
dots are dotting.
Can you hear us now? We need confirmation from someone. For people who are watching this video for the first time, it must be kind of weird and confusing for you that we're starting off this public video this way.
Yeah.
We were just live. There was about 100 people there. We had no audio, and now we have no one here.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find out if people can hear us. Can you hear us right now?
If you can hear us, comment
Can you
first.
hear us? Comment now if you can hear us. Anyone. Fernando, you said hello. Anastasia, yes. Amy, yeah.
Amy,
okay,
what's up,
you can
Amy?
hear
Hello.
us.
How you
All
doing?
right. We'll let some people come in first. And then
Mohammed.
we'll get this train rolling. Man.
We'll get this train Josh Brolin.
Ooh. Whoa.
Yeah, oh, see what happens when you fuck with the contrast.
What's wrong with the contrast?
I'm just saying, like, if you drag it all the way to the left, we look crazy.
What was this at before?
55.
What was this at before?
There
we go.
That's where
Just let people roll in, and
Yeah,
we're
that's
just
nice.
gonna fuck with you for now.
we're not blown out and we have actual skin tone.
Okay, so we're gonna go over our top 10 list over here for most anticipated movies of 2019 today. Does the video say 2019? I think it said 2019, right?
The first time it did.
What about the second time?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I have a habit of still saying 2018. It's the way I tend to operate for some reason.
Yeah, man, gotta write those checks right.
Well, before we hop into this, John, we haven't caught up at all. How's your day?
It's been great so far. I woke up, fed your cats, and then did a couple things on Patreon, and then went to the coffee house, and then came back here, looked up all the movies of the year, and we started this live stream.
Yeah.
So my day has been pretty standard thus far. How's your day been?
We said fed your cats.
Fed. Well,
fed the cats.
I don't want to be presumptuous. I love the cats. And I have a bond with them as well.
My day's good. Last night after movie fights, after fighting Dan Merle, I had a pretty good is the word cathartic. I had a pretty good experience last night. I had a very an experience that I learned so much from it afterwards, and it was so nice to actually just chat with Dan for a while afterwards. And Greg, you need to prepare for Dan Merle so that you will win movie fights. Apparently that was last night.
Hey man, just the next time you have to face Dan for the championship.
And I did no preparation. I went in just cold. It went off the top of my head. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, you didn't even hear the questions until it was live.
And so we actually a blind fight would be a lot of fun. And so but last night, I had worked out pretty much like for 10 days in a row. So yesterday, I was like, you know what? I think I earned some In-N-Out burger.
Oh, lucky duck.
So I went to In-N-Out, got a burger, fries, got a little toast with my lady, olive branch. And then and then I slept and now I'm here, and I think I'm going to take the day off from working out and just feel bloated all day. Actually, I don't feel so bloated right now, which is kind of rare for after having a pretty big meal last night.
Well, maybe it was perfectly proportioned to your cathartic victory.
Thanks. Hey, thanks, Danny Wick. That's very kind of you, Danny Wick official.
Aw.
Anyway.
Official, eh?
Yeah, official. It's very kind of you, good sir. First time here. Where's Ryan Wright? He's in all of us. And he wants to be in you.
Ryan, I want Ryan Wright to become the Cal Chester of this channel. Just like an occasional cutaway to you in the corner.
Did anyone here in this live stream actually watch the movie fights last night? If you did, just say yes. Don't worry. We can.
Just comment first.
Just comment. Yeah, comment first right there. I guess no one.
Cold Pursuit.
Oh, thanks, Anastasia. Oh, wow. Hey, a pretty good amount of you guys watch it. Any help on a breakup? Well, I'll tell you this much. Just feel the pain, and eventually you'll get over it. Just got to grieve. Last stage of grief is acceptance.
Dude, Shane Cher thinks you're a movie fight beast.
It's just that simple to get over a breakup. Anywho, we're gonna hop into our list. I figured I'd rather get our honorable mentions out of the way. That I don't want to deal with anyone getting like pissed at me for why didn't you mention this? Why did you? So if you just, because these are the honorable mentions are going to be the ones that I'm like, yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to, but I have reasons for why it's not on my 10.
Yeah.
Knowing John will probably have like a gajillion.
I have a lot.
And I'll have like a small handful.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. And so I'll go first, and then John will screw off for 10 minutes. Mine is I have 4 honorable mentions here because these were the ones that I contemplated putting on my list. There's actually one more I contemplated putting on my list that I'm going to put right now. These are the 5 that I contemplated. Okay. And first one is I'll say is Toy Story 4. Yeah. Because I feel like Toy Story 3 ended so perfectly that I like getting to a Toy Story 4. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be good. Simultaneously, I'm like, I'm
more nervous than anticipatory. I'm like, this is you wrapped it up so well, and we're gonna go back again. I'm definitely gonna see it. I'm definitely looking forward to it, but I'm also a little.
Yeah, my other one, I guess, would say Lego Movie 2 is an honorable mention. That's very kind of. I'm watching it next week. And Terminator 6. This was one that was actually originally on my list because I'm someone who's been very much in defense of the movie in terms of everything I've been hearing about it. And I know that the franchise hasn't been so great lately, but in my opinion, I have some pretty strong faith that the filmmakers behind it are really going to do their absolute best to make sure this is a good one, especially for this to be Tim Miller's follow-up to Deadpool after the whole fiasco that happened with him not returning for Deadpool 2, that meeting with Hollywood Variety interview. Mm-hmm. I'm very much excited for it. It's just not in my top 10. Funny enough, another James Cameron produced pick, Alita Battle Angel, which a lot of people think is going to be terrible. I've been having some faith in it. And I heard the early reactions for the movie have been fantastic. And then here's the one that I'm just telling you guys right up front.
Yep.
Is not in my top 10.
Nor is it in mine.
Star Wars Episode 9. After all that Last Jedi shit, I'm just like,
I'm gonna see it. There's a lot of hype around it. I'm looking forward to it, but at the same time, The Last Jedi became such a difficult experience that, I don't know, fandom in movies shouldn't have to be. And so, Episode 9, I'm a little bit like, oh, let's just get it over with.
Yeah. So I'm not really looking forward to. I think they should make 2 cuts of Star Wars Episode 9. I feel like that's the solution right there.
You should make the
2 cuts and just release them simultaneously.
Make the Last Jedi fans cut and the everybody else cut.
Do them both.
Yeah, man.
Now, what else you got, John?
Well, I'm gonna have to rattle off. I think a lot of the things that are
you gotta rattle them off.
Well, I found out that they're making a couple of movies that I'm just excited to hear that they're making. I don't really know much about, but they're making Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and Are You Afraid of the Dark, which are 2 spooky things. One's a book and one's a TV series that I was pretty excited about. And then I'll just rattle off a few. Happy Death Day 2, Hellboy, Curse of La Llorona, Brightburn, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Men in Black, Far From Home, Lion King, It Chapter 2, stuff like that. Kingsman 3, seems like it could be pretty fun. Missing Link, I like claymation and stuff like that. Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. That's probably the ones I care to really shout out.
All right. Well, that's fun. Kingsman 3, isn't that a prequel?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a prequel, right? Is that what can someone confirm that for me in the comments?
I would not be at all surprised.
Yeah, I thought that was the one where they're going back in time to learn about who the Kingsmen are or something like that.
Oh, that could be fun. And there's also
Captain Marvel's on my list too for honorable mentions. I'm really looking forward to that movie, but it overall the top 10 most anticipated, it's not there.
Yeah, I was like, Marvel. I can't make these all comic book movies. And there's also they're making a new Addams Family, and there's a Zombieland 2, which I liked Zombieland a lot, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's not even I don't have faith in that. All right, and I'd say Hellboy is probably an honorable mention as well. But hey, there's a lot of movies to look forward to in 2019. A lot of big movies, and the funny thing that happens when you put together one of these lists is when you do this at the beginning of the year, or even we probably should have done this earlier because prior to having seen Glass, I probably would have put Glass on this list.
I would have too. Yeah.
But a lot of times, there are trailers for movies that just haven't come out yet in 2019, and oftentimes it'll be like, "Oh, March debuted a trailer for a movie I hadn't heard of. Now this is one of the movies I really want to see."
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, we spent enough time beating around the bush with building up 10 minutes of enthusiasm to getting to the actual list. Let's get to the actual list now. John, you want to go first with your number 10?
Yeah, number 10, The Intruder. So excited to see Dennis Quaid break into that house and terrorize those beautiful people and, do a Lakeview Terrace, but the other way around. I actually ordered these for reals, though, in just release date order. So,
you know what looks so bad about the new Intruders movie with that Dennis Quaid is how Dennis Quaid really thinks he's like giving.
He's
so committed. He's so committed to it.
Invested.
And the more committed he is, the so lack of self-awareness of the kind of movie it's looking like just makes it that much dumber.
You don't understand. I actually am excited for this movie just because, it looks so wacky, and it's the kind of movie that usually just goes off the rails with how kind of silly it becomes. And like Dennis Quaid's ultimate commitment to this ridiculousness is part of the charm. Plus, I love Megan Good, and that guy's good in Barbershop. So
that's fair. That's a fair point.
But for reals, I did order these just in release date order because so I'm going with Alita first because I don't know, for whatever reason, I've really been rooting for that movie. I know that the projections haven't been good, but the idea of Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron kind of teaming up on this passion project together excites me. I also am excited by the idea that Rodriguez is getting a chance to work on a giant scale again, but with collaborators who I feel like can bring out the best in him while also limiting some of his indulgent tendencies. And just from, especially, everybody talks about that last trailer we saw, but especially having looked up panels from the manga and stuff and seeing that last trailer, I am excited to go to that world, and I do hope that movie surprises everybody. And it's been kind of gratifying to see the early reviews be so positive. So I'm looking forward to that, oddly enough.
Yeah, I'd take what you say and put it a little bit lower in terms of anticipation, and it makes an honorable mention.
Cool.
For me, number 10 would have to be It Chapter 2. I really liked the first It movie a lot. I see the cast list for It Chapter 2, and I get very excited at it. Yeah. I haven't read the book. There seems to be a common consensus if you've seen the miniseries or if you've read the book. It always goes back to the same thing. The stuff with the kids is so much better than the stuff with the adults. Mm-hmm. So I'm really glad they didn't shoot these two films back to back to give it some breathing room, to give time to figure out what worked with the first one, to see what they can properly do to make a good sequel. And probably is a good idea as well, because instead of shooting it back to back, you can make your movie with you can have a box office success, so that way it's easier to get bigger stars for your sequel. Mm-hmm. I think the people involved with it are going to be very much aware that people usually respond to the adult stuff with it in the book, and the miniseries is not being a really exciting element or being much more lackluster compared to the stuff with the kids. So I think that for this one, it's number 10 only because I have no clue if they'll deliver. I just have this, it's more of an anticipation of I really want to see what they do with it and if they ultimately will deliver.
It is like a dream cast, and in that way it is like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I kind of share your thoughts and just knock that down a little bit, and you got an honorable mention. See?
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm going to rearrange this list in real time to make this more entertaining because you've ordered them in an excitement order. So next, I'm going to go with The Beach Bum. I saw this trailer a couple days ago, and Harmony Korine's a really divisive filmmaker. Spring Breakers is a weird ass movie, but it really compelled me. And seeing the trailer for The Beach Bum, it's another one of those weird movies that just looks out there and fever dream like. But what captivated me about that particular trailer, beyond all the crazy like Linklater meets Harmony Korine stuff is the way it switches halfway through to like the party dream is over, and it sort of seemed like maybe Harmony Korine is going to make us stride towards something a bit more mature while he's bringing his trademark indulgence to this. And it just kind of fascinated me, and with the way that like Spring Breakers kind of came out of nowhere and was just like, wow, this is so gripping. I'm curious to see how that one pans out. You know, I don't know. I had to include an oddball on this list, you know, because that's part of my taste. And
it's Harmony Korine. I feel like it will be divisive, as Harmony Korine tends to do.
Yeah.
I personally am not. I the only one I've ever seen is Spring Breakers, and I was like very much in the middle about it. But you know, that's more of your flavor than it is mine.
Yeah,
and I'd say so.
It's a curiosity.
If we were Screen Junkies, it's more of Spencer's flavor, less Dan's flavor. I don't know.
That's why it's toward the end of this.
Yeah.
List. Had I approached this list in an excitement ranking order initially, I probably would have put that at 10 and Alita at 9. But whatever, it's on the record now.
I would say for number 9, I'm gonna put Shazam solely because of the fact that the trailer, out of all the big trailers for Comic-Con, that was the one that stole the show for me, just because it was the most surprising one. Like in retrospect, looking over the I feel like there's some unique things to be had. You know, the comparisons of like Big meets Superman are keep coming into mind. With it, it doesn't look entirely unique in terms of a superhero film. Like they're doing unique things, they're doing different things, but overall, it looks like, you know, a worthy, fun superhero film. But there's something about that just seems so delightful and charming, and the fact that its trailer at Comic-Con managed to be the one that just genuinely surprised me the most. Like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this film, and I have a lot of high hopes for it as well. I have a lot of high hopes for this movie.
Yeah, likewise. All right, well, my number, whatever this is, 8. My number 8. I partly considered this list because I knew that we were going to have a fair amount of overlap, and I also wanted to have some genre diversity. So this is a bit of a left field move. But I'm going to throw Little on my list of anticipations just because I'm a big Issa Rae fan. I mean, I've been following Insecure for a while and things like that. And I'm really psyched that Regina Hall has come back, because I feel like after Scary Movie, she just kind of disappeared. And now she's been back again in a big way. And especially with like What Men Want coming out, that doesn't look like it's capitalizing on its repurposed premise at all. I feel like this movie actually could deliver on that repurposed premise.
I heard Mel Gibson shows up at the end of that movie.
Really?
No.
I mean, in one breath, I wouldn't be surprised. And in the other breath, I just don't think that would be enough to save it if it's not already.
He plays a satire version of himself.
I bet
she hears his thoughts and he wants to beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, she started the wars. Sugar tits.
We need that as the ending to What Men Want.
It's going to be like a rote comedy for an hour and 10 minutes. And the last 20 minutes is going to be this really dark Mel Gibson interlude.
It's going to become talking about the Me Too movements and everything.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I don't know. I wanted to include something that caught my eye in the comedy sphere, and that's sort of what caught my eye in the comedy sphere.
Number 8 for me. Oh, wait a minute. There's one I do want to take out of. You know what? I'm gonna take out. I'm gonna take out. This one. Nah. Number 8. I'm gonna take out this one and replace it. I'm gonna move Brightburn to an honorable mention, only because I was thinking to myself because another movie popped into my mind that I'm like, no, that movie's definitely on my top 10. But Brightburn is something tells me, as much as I love that trailer, that the trailer is going to be better than the movie. That's just that's the vibe I really pick up on with that film. Is this is a cool idea, and I'm sure it'll be neat. But I'm going to replace that right now with a movie that is getting only a limited release in the theaters, and that is Martin Scorsese's The Irishman. That's a movie that I don't really see on this year. I don't really see that on too many lists, but I I'm just, as a guy who grew up on Scorsese films,
Oh hell yeah!
I even consider the best film of the 21st century to be The Departed, which is somehow become his like most underrated movie. I really do love Scorsese films, and I used to like marathon Pacino and De Niro films, and to know that they're finally going to be sharing a good amount of screen time together. Not a few minutes in Heat, not whatever that movie was, Righteous Kill, but under the helm of, it's like, what other director would you want them to share screen time with? This arguably should be my number one pick. What other director would you want them to share screen time with other than Martin Scorsese? Like, that's the best director to be directed by for these two actors.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Al Pacino's first movie with Scorsese. He's been like getting cast in a lot of things, and Joe Pesci returned for this movie. This is a passion project for Robert De Niro. He's been trying to get it off the ground for many years.
Okay.
So there's just so much passion involved in this movie. The thing that concerns me is the de-aging element of it. That's the part of it that I'm like, is that going to look weird? But without it being like a $100 to $200 million budget somewhere there, and then seeing the Captain Marvel trailer and seeing like, I never am thinking Sam Jackson's DH. I never think that when I'm watching it. Granted, Sam Jackson looks amazing for his current age, whereas Pacino and De Niro look pretty fucking old. I feel like somehow with lighting or whatever, they'll make it look really good,
Yeah, I mean, and in Scorsese's hands, I'm sure that there'll be enough around it going on to make up for it, even if you can notice the de-aging tech or whatever.
Yeah.
And in light of all this, maybe take The Beach Bum off my list and put The Irishman in there, because I think Scorsese is one of the few like masters who still like really has got it.
Yes.
Like even I know a lot of people don't talk about this movie, but Silence, even his most recent one, was like really left an impression on me. And it's a totally different kind of movie. And so, to see him coming back with all these dudes, it's like I didn't think I could get excited for the combination of these actors again, because we saw Righteous Kill, and we've seen some of the other movies in the vein of their old movies that they've made lately. But The Irishman is a very exciting prospect.
Guys, you hear what I'm playing right now?
Guess what? We're going to be checking out Sawyer Brown's Some Girls Do.
That's V Reacts.
V Reacts.
We are subscribed to V Reacts.
Woo!
She is a reaction channel that you guys should go check out.
Go
check her out. She does great reaction. She's in this live stream right now. So just wanted to shout you out really quick. Don't worry, guys. We'll be paying more attention to what's going on in the actual chat once we're done getting through this list. Don't worry. You'll just have to work to get our attention. Because we're very selective on who we care about.
Yeah, definitely. You have to buy our love. It's all conditional.
Number 7. What's your number 7?
My number 7, I am going to go with a remake, actually. And weirdly enough, the first time we saw this trailer, I thought it was all right. And then I saw it in the theaters, and it gripped me a whole lot more than I thought it would. And I feel like this movie has the potential to be the kind of remake that perhaps The Crazies was, where it took something that had the potential originally and had some merits to it and can bring it fully to fruition.
Are you talking about Pet Sematary?
I'm talking about Pet Sematary, yeah. I don't know. For some reason, the translation from the small to the big screen, when I first saw the trailer on the big screen, I was like, oh shit, this really does look intense and kind of creepy. And I love John Lithgow too in that role. I didn't think that you could recast. When I thought about that, I think about that movie. I think about Fred Gwynne, which isn't what everybody thinks about. But I was like, oh, that's gonna be a weird role to recast. And they got John Lithgow, and I was like, oh, that's like I hadn't thought of it, but it's like the one guy who could do that. And I'm a big fan of Starry Eyes that those two guys made before that. I don't know, for some reason it just keeps sticking out in my mind, and I keep rooting for it because I think that's a mid-tier Stephen King sort of a cult movie. The first one only has like a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes. I've seen it, like there are definitely merits, but it's definitely dated. And I don't know, I feel like Pet Sematary could be pretty cool.
All right. Godzilla King of the Monsters is my number 7.
Hell
people.
Yeah.
If you have not seen that, I don't know who made the trailer for the second one. I'm not by any stretch a Godzilla a fanatic. It's like I've seen more than I actually retain about the Godzilla franchise. But when I see that trailer, It's deliver that second trailer especially delivers this feeling of I've never been more excited to watch monsters fight each other. Like there's it's just like the few minutes of a trailer does such a good job. Like it's fucking like a drum epic music building up to this battle royale. That you're like, oh man, really the trailer's one of the best trailers I think I've seen.
It's a rad trailer. It's just to see those iconic kaiju come back together, like
with the music mixed in and the way they build it up and the editing of it, it's just a great fucking trailer. And then I show my girlfriend that trailer on the phone, and she was like, "Whoa." We watched it here, and we were like, "Wow." Then you watch the trailer in the theaters, you're like, damn. It's like no matter the scope you're watching that trailer in, it's like I don't know if the movie's gonna live up. I don't, but the designs look amazing. I'm sure it's gonna be a total blast. I have because oftentimes when I get this excited for a movie of this caliber, it's like the thing I'm looking forward to, it will deliver on, but then I kind of forget in my anticipation for it that, well, if the stuff in between is boring, I'm not going to like it as much. That tends to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of how it was with, certain movies like last year, Aquaman. I wasn't in love with the movie because of that factor.
No, for sure.
And it's because like Aquaman gave me everything I wanted from the trailer, but then I watched the movie. I'm like, oh yeah, but there's things in between that I didn't anticipate that I didn't really care for. So if Godzilla can at least make good on the other stuff and then really deliver, then I feel like it's going to be a great film. But in terms of a theater experience, Godzilla is one of the top ones.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I feel like that was one I deliberated pretty hard on including or not on this list. The next one for me is a movie that you have already talked about, and it's Shazam, because that also was the biggest surprise of Comic-Con for me. I really enjoyed that trailer. I've enjoyed the little peeks we've gotten at it since. I like what it represents for what DC's trying to do. There seems like they're broadening out a little bit, and I'm a fan of David Sandberg, who made Lights Out, both the short and the film.
Yeah.
And Annabelle creation. Yeah. So
it looks terrifying.
All the stuff that you said, it looks really scary. The kid from It is in it, so it's going to be fucking horrifying. It's gazebos.
Number 6 on my list is this. I don't know if this is on John's list.
I think this is at the same spot.
Yeah,
I think this will be my next movie if I'm
reading. We'll just riff. My number 6 pick. The more I hear about this movie and the more footage and pictures and even the behind the scenes shenanigans that I've heard about, I couldn't help but I can't help but be like, I gotta see what this movie is. I have zero. My heart is, I'm like, I'm really 50-50 on it. Is it going to be good? Is it gonna be bad? I don't know. I just don't know. Regardless, I have a feeling it's going to be fucking interesting. And that is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie.
Hell yeah.
It's suddenly turned from Todd Phillips' Joker movie into Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie.
And what's exciting to me about that is that combination, because Todd Phillips, I think, has something to prove a little bit, because you know, he's his most acclaimed thing is the first Hangover, and then like things got kind of sour from there. And then War Dogs is okay from what I understand, but this seems like a huge opportunity to do something in an arena that is a Wild West right now. Like the DCEU is just kind of a Wild West to me. And to see an older actor of caliber step into the role of the Joker is like so exciting. And the kind of Scorsese vibe they keep talking about, like this is the other side of what excites me about what DC is trying to do now, is like Shazam is this really fun thing that has, more of a youth accessible element. And then this is the more like adult side as I perceive it.
Yeah. Well, my number 5, I'll take the lead now.
Jump on it.
My number 5 will be, I was always looking forward to it. And then I saw the trailer for this movie and I got even like a billion times more excited for it. That would be Spider-Man Far From Home. I think that how do I put it, man? I mean, we already like talked about it so much within 20 minutes of like review footage.
Mysteria.
Yeah, it got me very excited for that element. Of course, the variety of Spider-Man suits in it. I do think the cinematography in the film looks updated. I feel like its colors pop a lot more. Is it as striking visually as Sam Raimi's movies? No, based off the trailers, it doesn't look to be delivering on that end, but it seems like there's an actual style to it. I don't feel like I feel like the Homecoming had a very unique tone to the movie, but in terms of a visual flair, I didn't really feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this trailer, so many moments, just that famous moment where he's just like fucking flying. Yeah, like whoa,
squirrel suit.
Yeah, and then even the Mysterio element, like there seems to be there's a production design quality to it that's got me a lot more excited. As much as we'd like, as much as I want standalone movies to be as standalone as possible, I'm never really as bothered with the inclusion of Nick Fury because I don't feel like we're ever going to have like a Nick Fury standalone movie.
Yeah, he's a supporting character always.
Yeah, he's always a supporting character. He's a good thread to keep in mind. And in a lot of ways, I actually prefer him to be in the movie as opposed to Iron Man, which everyone's like, I prefer Nick Fury in there. And Jake Gyllenhaal, he's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Either by the end of this movie, it's going to be revealed, or he's going to be a bad guy in a later one. I don't fucking know. Either way, Jake Gyllenhaal in one of these movies, he's one of the most underrated actors around right now.
And he's been turning him down for years,
Yeah. So I'm very much excited about it.
Well, and two, what I didn't hone in on as much the first time we watched the trailer, but since I've kind of picked up and people have pointed out, is there's like a espionage spy kind of undercurrent to some of the imagery in the trailer. Like you got him and Nick ostensibly in this boat, like on a canal, which is very like espionage movie type of thing. And those shots of Nick Fury like looking out over the city in a glass building.
Yeah.
So I liked, the first one brought in like a John Hughes element, and so I'm excited to see this genre smash now.
Yeah.
Just to
What's your next one?
piggyback, my next choice.
I don't believe in piggybacking, John.
You don't believe in piggybacking?
I don't believe in riffing.
Well, my number 4 choice, I don't know if this is going to upset people in its placement, but I don't know. I think it's all right. Number 4, I am going with what's probably everybody's number 1, and that's Avengers Endgame, because I'm not going to not see how all this ends. And I mean, you know how I feel about comic book movies. I like them.
The other half gets snapped away, Joe.
Yeah, and they're just gone forever. And this is an alternate universe this Far From Home takes place.
Kevin Feige shows up and says Far From Home was a fake trailer that we shot just to mislead you for the ending of Endgame. We are bankrupt.
Yeah.
No more Black Panther sequels.
That's why we got that Best Picture. Because we killed Black Panther.
We killed Black Panther off. It's ending. I'm sorry, guys. Sayonara.
Yeah, that's really what I hope the whole movie is.
Yeah.
Just, Kevin Feige for an hour and 50 minutes going, no, this is why we decided to kill all these characters and go home. We'll see you in phase 5. But yeah, I don't know. Endgame is that trailer. I really like the approach they took with the trailer. It's not just about what the status of the movie is and all the anticipation. Like I like the restraint that they brought to that trailer and the weird. It's funny. Everybody gets really uptight about the idea of, dark or serious subject matter in superhero movies because it didn't pan out as well as everybody hoped it would for some of DC's stuff. But I feel like they have a good approach to the somber attitude because they made a really big impression with the way they used the somber elements of Infinity War. And so, going into Endgame, I'm very both excited and fascinated to see how this all wraps up because I feel like Avengers Infinity War and by proxy Endgame, I hope, are kind of special movies for this genre because they did manage to feel like kind of an earth-shattering event amid a series of films where every film centers around an earth-shattering event, So, very, very much anticipating Infinity War Part 2 Endgame.
I'm excited for that too.
Yeah.
My number 4 pick would have to. I saw this. I was away in Colorado when the trailer debuted, so John had to cover this on his own. I watched this trailer, and it was one of those feelings where I was like, man, I wish I had done a reaction for this because I watched it on my phone with headphones on outside during the day, and I was still like, what the fuck? And that is the Jordan Peele's new movie, Us. I think Get Out is a fantastic movie. I'm kind of annoyed by the public reaction following Get Out.
Oh yeah.
Of how Jordan Peele is the most talked about horror movie guru of all time. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like every month I got a new thing I'm hearing about with Jordan Peele's produced this, Jordan Peele's producing this. It's always like horror, Jordan Peele. I'm like, he's made one movie right now, one great horror movie. It's a fantastic one, in a lot of ways, a monumental one, especially considering the Oscar win he had for writing. So, yeah, but the thing about Us is, because of the amount of Jordan Peele hype that has now been created with that film, I'm kind of worried for how the reaction is going to be. For me, even though I'm not a big fan of Glass, I kind of feel like this could be his kind of Glass movie or his Unbreakable follow-up to Sixth Sense, because this looks so much weirder. And at least the trailer is prepping you for that.
Yeah.
That this is going to be a lot stranger. This is not, like, to me, the only thing that's in the vein of Get Out is it's about Black people. Other than that, it'll have some type of social commentary, sure, but it's not going to be the same kind of movie. And I love the trailer for it. It's just I kind of feel like people are going to go into it and just, is it better than Get Out? Is it better than Get Out? Is it better than Get Out? And I'm not looking forward to that side of it.
Dan Seibert. Sorry to interrupt you, but Dan's here.
Dan's here?
Yeah.
Hate that guy. Gosh. What is this little invitation, Dan? Don't worry, I covered it.
No, it's there.
Oh, my bad. I covered the wrong side. Oh, shit.
Yeah, you got to cover a lot of stuff.
Hopefully you guys didn't see that.
These two dudes.
Look, what's this invitation, Dan?
What
is that to you and your wife's
Let's do an unboxing.
Wedding?
Let's do an enveloping.
It's all right. They can all just show up at the wedding.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
but yeah, no,
yeah.
I feel you.
I mean, other than that worry part to it, the Us trailer looks insanely unique. I feel like when you go kind of weird and really out there in such a strange way, the genre that most appeals to me is when you do it in horror. Beyond anything else, like
because I feel like it most naturally lends itself there, because horror hinges so basically on fear of the unknown and things that are weird or hard to understand.
Yeah, like I like weird and strange things, but the main thing I love that in is horror, and that movie just looks amazing. And I feel like he's upped his game in terms of visual palette with that film too. Oh
yeah, good call. Hey, I think we can unite a little bit coming up. My number 3 is a part 3. I'm looking forward to John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, because that fucking trailer was wicked. Those pictures of him on the horse were wicked. Haha. No pun intended.
It's my number 3 too. So yeah. No, you should try to build that up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I said we'll be in unison for at least this one.
He killed the men with the pencil.
With
the mechanical pencil.
Peggy Hill's down to her last pencil. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, John Wick, the first one, is so kind of straightforward in one way, but so distinct in another way. And even though I didn't like Chapter 2 quite as much, I am really compelled by this series. I think the action always stands out and is always bone-crunching, impressively tactical, impressively choreographed. There's a lot of ingenuity that goes into these movies, and I feel the hype based off of just what the filmmakers have said and what the trailer looks like, as well as some early reactions. I'm really hoping that this becomes like a beautifully told trilogy.
I know a couple of people who saw an early screening of it. I cannot say who they are because that would be bad. But I know a couple of people who saw it, and I very much value their opinions. Rare do I disagree with them. Usually we see very eye to eye on things. And they said that it was their favorite one in the franchise.
Fuck yeah! See, that's I always
they don't think part 2 is better than part 1, but they said this one's the best one. Yeah,
I'm so excited. Yeah. Because that's the thing. I always get a little more nervous every installment of something I like. We get Yeah. Because I'm like, just the stakes get that much higher. But I don't know. There's something about the John Wick films that seems a little special. I mean, Keanu Reeves is so committed. It seems like just everyone loves making them.
Yeah.
And everyone loves watching watching them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of magical, you know? So I'm really excited for that movie.
The way Greg said it looked like it was the worst.
What? Which one?
Oh, he's talking about John Wick 3.
Oh.
My second movie that I'm most looking forward to, this was like a no-brainer for me. I was like, weirdly, I feel like this has the potential to be my favorite movie of the year. Even though it's my number 2 most anticipated, there's different reasons for anticipation as opposed to what I actually think will be the best movie of the year. But the second most anticipated, I would have to say, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did you put that down?
That's my number 2 as
That's
well.
your number 2 as well? Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Then when we don't, what is? I feel like I know what your number 1 is.
Yeah. It's What Men Want.
Actually, there were photos just released today that look incredible of this movie. First off, it's Tarantino taking a step back into not the present time, but only like 40 years ago, as opposed to the Western times.
It's not that.
Yeah, because he kept going like further and further back in a lot of ways. And this movie, you got DiCaprio, he's reunited with Brad Pitt, he's reunited with.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt and DiCaprio in the same movie is so exciting to me. They have this image they released with with DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Al Pacino. Like, damn, that looks crazy. Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. The images they've released, it just looks like a very vibrant film. And him dealing with a sensitive subject like this, it's from the way it was announced, it sounds like it's not really about what people thought it was originally about, Well,
yeah, it's not the Charles Manson story.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone said he's making a Charles Manson movie.
It sounds like it's about people, and it just happens to be around the time of that,
Yeah.
And just Tarantino is my favorite screenwriter of all time. Like, do I think he's as like wild and crazy as someone like a Charlie Kaufman? No, I love Charlie Kaufman films a lot, but in terms of a writer, Tarantino's my favorite one. And just this whole idea of him doing these with this cast together and this time period, and also the subject of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, one of the cool things, like Tarantino and Kevin Smith, they have this very film buff personality. Yeah. It's weird because there's a lot of cinephiles, a lot of big time directors and writers are obviously cinephiles and movie buffs, but you don't really associate their personality to be film buff. Yeah. Tarantino is film buff. Totally. So to have this movie that revolves around a very specific time in Hollywood, in an earlier decade where times were so much different, but we can still find it a little tangible because it's not too distant from us. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this movie. I'm excited to see what he does with it, man. It just sounds fucking weird and cool.
Yeah, well, to build off of that, I mean, the thing is, like, in the mythology of Tarantino's filmography, he says he wants to make a finite amount of narrative motion pictures, and this seems to be at least toward the later side of whatever that number ends up being. And he said, like, after this, I may make documentaries or do like histories on Hollywood. And so I feel like so much of his filmography up until this point has been him using his cinephile inklings to explore his love of different genres. But I'm excited now to see him. He must be an expert on Hollywood, and to see him make a movie that seems like it's just about life in Hollywood at the time, and a time that he clearly seems to draw a lot of inspiration from. That is fascinating to me because, it's a bit more grounded in reality, at least from the outside. It seems like it would be. And I'm fascinated to see him use this side of his, they call it playing to the top of your intelligence or whatever, using the things really well about. And I'm excited to see him bring this historical element after he's done, so many historical fictions before.
Yeah, totally.
This. Yeah.
What's your number 1?
My number 1 pick is What Men Want, for real. No, it's Us. I'm going with Us. And then I feel like a lot of the things you said are super valid. I mean, every time somebody comes out and really impresses people, just everyone freaks out, and it's the only name you hear. It's like for a while it seemed like everybody thought that Idris Elba was the only black actor, or like Jennifer Lawrence is the only actress. It's just like, we love her now, cast her in everything.
Or that Tom Hardy should be cast in
Every role should be his.
Yeah.
And so I do kind of get the fatigue on that about like, okay, like I love Get Out too, I respect this guy's work a lot, but yeah, let's see what he follows up with. And so I'm just excited to see him do his thing and to make this follow-up, because I don't know, I have a feeling that he, you know, there's got to be a lot of hype, there's got to be a lot of expectations, but I feel like he can walk in and just do his thing. And yeah, the trailer, I didn't really know what to expect coming out of Get Out for a follow-up, but I was gripped that whole time. Like, it looks totally jarring, but also very different. And I like too that you're getting Winston Duke and Lupita Nyong'o. I mean, this is a genre movie, it's going to go crazy, but I like that they're actually just getting to play a normal couple for a hot minute, you know, to play actual characters before they have to do this horror scenario. And it seems fascinating for them because they'll get to play two sets of characters and all that. And yeah, I'm just a big fan of A, horror, and B, things that are surreal and twisted and unsettling, and things with kind of hidden symbols. And I feel like this movie is going to have a lot of that hidden symbology, a lot of that social edge that Jordan Peele seems to have a vested interest in. And as a horror fan, as a genre fan, I love when you can have a great, suspenseful, effective, sensory horror movie that also has a lot on its mind and a lot in its heart. And I feel like Jordan Peele can kind of do all three, at least if Get Out is a standard, is a bar. And so yeah, I'm super excited for us. I'm really hoping he nails it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Mhm.
I don't doubt that at all. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
My number one, X-Men Dark Phoenix. Oh man.
New Mutants.
New Mutants on Hulu.
I like last year I might have put New Mutants on this list before all this other stuff happened.
No, I'm not now. Now that I'm here, it's possibly going to Hulu. I've officially reached super concerned.
Yeah.
No, my number one, I'm just kidding. It is Avengers Endgame. But the thing is, I don't anticipate that it'll actually be my favorite movie of the year. That's a weird part to this list. Okay. Because but the thing is, it's the one I'm without a doubt the most anticipated and hopeful for that they nail it. Because this could be the defining moment when Marvel gets it wrong. You know?
Wow,
like,
they really fucked that up.
Like they could really. There's so much, because to me this could be their Return of the King. I know there's not 3 Thanos villain movies or something, but it can be their Return of the King in a lot of ways, because as exciting as the MCU films are, and as much as I often love them, and like Black Panther was one of my favorite movies of last year, for movies about superheroes, I rarely actually get that feeling when you get to the finale beyond this is really cool and exciting to fucking God, you know? And I feel like with all they've done with leading up to this, I feel like we could be in that seat being like, oh, yeah, fucking, like having that real, it's like we know though some of these heroes will succeed. We have a feeling there's probably going to be some finite deaths in this specific installment. But I really just hope they fucking sneak that landing, because
that is the biggest set of stakes for a movie.
It is without a doubt the most hyped movie of the year. Fortunately, Infinity War, the most hyped movie of last year, managed to they did a great job,
demolish expectations. And it managed to not be like just easily satisfying, but it still got everybody. You know,
and in this installment, I'm like, I think there's even more stakes now because Infinity War stuck the landing.
Because they did something audacious and now they have to pay it off.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, and then they got to deal with the whole the whole idea of the characters coming back.
That's what I'm talking about.
And people are gonna be like, oh, fucking cop out, you know. People are gonna say shit like that.
They gotta have a good reason.
They have to nail that in a way where you're not like cop out, you know.
Where they gotta earn it.
yeah, they have so much to earn. They have to stick to because if they don't do this, if they don't make people like this, could be the time where people are like, oh, I'm questioning Marvel now, you know. And there's with so much at stake. It's not one of those cases where I'm like, fucking MCU's got this. I feel like they will overall, but there is that slight tingle in my heart that goes, please, please get this right,
Yeah, totally. I do not envy the Russo brothers in any way.
Yeah, this is a crazy test, and I'm also looking forward to that Return of the King finale feeling in terms of like my hopeful side is having that first because I can't think of another Marvel movie where I really had that. By the time Black Panther gets to fighting Killmonger, like. This is going to be exciting and cool, and we know he's got this. And I want him to win.
The best parts of the movie have kind of happened.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing about these movies is it's
Act 3 reminds you that it's a superhero movie.
Yeah, Act 3 is usually like, oh, this is when the coolest action is going to come in or something like that, Whereas as in this one, I feel like we can finally get that real triumphant feeling.
Well, yeah, this is their epic, as it feels like to me, like their true Lord of the Rings. I think is a good mark of comparison because that is also like an epic war movie.
Yeah,
that's essentially what they're doing with Infinity War.
So yeah, I mean, do I honestly think it'll be my favorite movie of the year? I think it'll. I don't think it will.
I think it'll give us a lot to talk about.
But I think it'll give us a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Milk them reaction views. And,
breaking down this part of the Endgame. These
guys, you gotta check out this trailer because there's 5 seconds of Tony Stark punching a guy.
He didn't punch him in the last trailer.
I don't think we're gonna do that. Last year was like, let's just check out anything, and then after a while, it was like. We're just checking out anything that's being requested.
Lots of things happen in this movie.
So yeah, I because last year, last year I would say Infinity War was my most hyped movie, but A Star Is Born ended up being my favorite movie last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
hey, you never know what's going to move you the most, and anticipation is a weird thing too. Yeah, because I don't know, it affects
expectation and delivery are two things.
Totally.
But yeah, guys, those are our top 10 lists right here.
How's it going in the comments?
We'll be here for just a few more minutes.
Yeah, so get your question in now.
We figured like an hour is a good amount of time to do these things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Got 8 minutes, people. Make it count.
What's your unpopular movie you're looking forward to? Oh, Terminator. Hey, Mikhail Linden's here.
Mikhail!
One of our favorite patrons. How's it going, guys?
How's it going, buddy?
Anastasia wants to know, are you guys roommates? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We spoon at night.
Yeah.
He's big spoon.
We're roommates.
We're roomies.
We
live in the same home.
I've yet to see his balls.
Oh, I can.
That's not true.
Yeah, you probably at some point it happens.
Yeah, I just don't say anything.
I've seen your equipment, but it was a while ago. Yeah, I think I've been touched by your equipment at least at one point.
Touched by your equipment. Nicole, that trailer for Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile movie about Ted Bundy dropped today. Well, you see, the thing is, the second we put that in the title,
they're going to make sure they're going to take money from us.
They're going to yellow dollar bill that. Yeah. And here's how it always goes, right? Like the Mortal Kombat videos, for example. The reason we don't cut those up is because we're like, we know they're not going to be monetized. Like you'll see a lot of our videos where the before and after the reaction is very much like edited, and like they'll take a long time. A lot of those, like especially the discussion based ones, take a long time to actually slice up.
Yeah, man.
And then for something like that, I would want to edit it. And the problem is that the second you put that in the title, you get a yellow dollar bill sign, and then after it's done accumulating all the views it's going to get.
You request them to go in manually and be like, wait a minute, is this appropriate? And by the time they get around to that, your video has run its course.
Yeah, it's run its course. And then it's like you've done hours of work to make $4.
For not a lot. And when you can't, and the thing is too, it doesn't actually behoove you to upload 1 million times a day, so we got to be more conservative with our slots.
That's the other thing too, is like you can't just you can't do all these like crazy. That's why we upload less now. We've had to learn a lot from people who are more connected to the
Yeah.
people involved with algorithms and YouTube. So we can't really we can't put up as many videos
for sure.
anymore.
Somebody asked what your unpopular anticipation choice is, and I honestly mean The Intruder. Every year there's like a bad movie that I just really hope I get to see, and that's the one.
Oh man, I don't know about that one. But Nicole, I'm letting you know I don't really have, I don't know, Zac Efron as Ted Bundy just sounds so unappealing to me.
I am fascinated,
What's
but
weird
I'm
is
also like, what?
It's weird as I actually love Zac Efron.
I actually love Ted Bundy.
I love Ted. I'm such a huge Ted Bundy
Big
fan.
Ted Bundy fan.
Man, I used to write him letters.
I tried to get married to him, but that wasn't legal at the time.
No, I'm actually a really big Zac Efron fan. I'm nowhere near on the Zac Efron hate train. I was prior to movies like Neighbors, honestly. I was like,
because
oh,
you
God,
see High
this
School
pretty
Musical.
boy. Yeah, because he was just such a pretty boy to me.
Yeah.
That seems to be the hey Amy.
What's up? How's it going in Kuwait?
That seems to be the one. What were we talking about? Zac Efron.
Zac Efron, yeah.
Oh, this is the one thing I tend to hate. Like I just automatically don't like is when a guy is famous for like when I just feel like he's just a pretty boy and he's not really that good of a talent in the other areas.
Mhm.
That can really annoy me with when people get famous for stuff like that. So usually, I mean, boy bands. What's weird is boy bands I've kind of grown more respect for.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, they're still talented. I used to hate like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys growing up, like fucking pretty boys.
Well, that
But
lifestyle like owns your life.
Oh yeah, and they are dancers and they're singers. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
say that about them.
And
I
they
used
have
to, but
They
yeah.
have to be vaguely pretty because they're singing generic love
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
You know?
So I would definitely say that.
Hello to India. Somebody requested that we do one Indian video a week. I saw that.
Maybe, perhaps. We did talk about it chapter 2. You'll have to go back through the video.
Mhm.
Hey, Charlotte. Charlotte's here. Yay.
What's up, Shar?
I liked him in that movie, 17. See, I think Zac Efron's like great in comedy.
Mhm.
And even in that Beach Bum trailer, I'm like, Zac Efron was cool in this movie. you know?
Yeah, totally. And I feel like that's a good role for him.
But I do for some reason him as Ted Bundy. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be able to see past Zac Efron.
It's like in a way it reminds me of making Chloe Moretz Carrie, where I'm like, you might do a good job, man, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna lose you into this role.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see the trailer.
What do we got here?
Thanks, Emilio Estevez.
John, my girlfriend likes you.
She sounds like she's got good taste.
It's about time you guys get that 3-way going.
Yeah, let's do that.
Who do you think Tony will save in Endgame? Happy? He's gonna be like, take care of the guy in the spider suit. Then he's gonna die.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's gonna ultimately save Tony in Endgame.
No,
we did
no,
it.
Who do you think Tony? Who do you think? Oh, we'll save
We'll
Tony.
save
Oh,
Tony.
my bad. Happy.
It's not Pepper because she was busy writing that big ass check for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We did mention Star Wars Episode 9 on our honorable mentions because fucking yeah, The Last Jedi was a
Okay.
ordeal.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take time to talk about that Ghostbusters 3 teaser trailer right here.
Hey, finally!
All right. If you guys finally want to subvert, there are a lot of people asking for it, and frankly, I was like, you know, I'm not going to react to what is essentially an Instagram
It's
video.
an image. It's 3 pictures and a lot of green.
What could have been a moving picture. I mean, that's what
It could have been a motion poster.
yeah,
if it wanted
it's a
to.
motion picture. And like, there's really nothing to. I'm like, I don't see the point in doing a reaction to this. And then I eventually just watched it, and I was like, okay,
cool.
Sure.
Oh, you mean Ecto 1's gonna be in this movie?
Perhaps.
Like, of course.
if you guys want us to, it's like it gives you nothing to go off of. We're not even sure who's in it. We're not even sure what. Like, we have no clue what they're doing with it. Like,
well, yeah. All I know is that they're giving it to Jason Reitman.
And I don't. Yeah, and they're like, just because Jason Reitman makes good movies. He's the
Never
son,
made this kind of movie.
He's the son of the guy who helmed it.
Yeah.
I just like, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I thought Ghostbusters females was fine
Answer the call.
too. I thought that was fine.
Yeah, that was fine.
The thing is like the only great one, in my personal opinion, is the first Ghostbusters movie.
and
it wasn't like this long-lasting franchise. It's gone on through like cartoons and
video games
yeah. that are not things that are. It's not like they got the whole original cast back to do the cartoon and all these things. The Ghostbusters 2 was all right. I've seen Ghostbusters 2 several times, and I'm always like, it is all right.
Yeah.
And then the Ghostbusters remake it's all right.
Yeah.
And I don't sometimes fandom, and we're supposed to do a video on this later this month, but sometimes fandom can really just be such an off-putting element to why I'm not really caring about it, because
I agree.
Weirdly, I could have I feel like we could have like a great discussion on the meaning of Star Wars fandom and why that touches so many people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
I have the hardest time truly deciphering why Dan Aykroyd ridden comedy.
These are dudes who catch Ghostbusters, who catch ghosts in a glorified vacuum.
Why that is so, like,
why did we treat this like it was a sacred text?
Even if you love the second Ghostbusters movie, even if you love that movie,
mm-hmm.
I'm like, at the end of the day, its only real intent is to entertain you with some slight horror thrills, but primarily make you laugh. I don't think it's this crazy mythological built thing with characters that are more than just, hey, Harold Ramis is the smart one, Bill Murray's the funny, sarcastic one, Dan Aykroyd is somewhere in between that.
Yeah. I mean,
they're not fucking Luke Skywalker versus Leia,
Yeah, and even if they are, it's not a great excuse to do certain things. That's my big thing about this movie. Is I heard the announcement and half my brain went, "Oh, that's neat. They're gonna give it to the son of the guy. I'm sure he'll do a good job. I've seen a few of his movies and I like them." And the teaser is cool, but
But is that a shot even in the fucking movie?
I bet not. I doubt it.
Have they even shot any of it?
That reeked of something that they shot specifically as an announcement to get people excited. I doubt they've even got a script.
Did Jason Reitman even shoot that?
Yeah, exactly. It's just second unit shit. That they probably hired an agency to make or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. All I can think of having seen that teaser is like, this is cool and all. The problem is that when Answer the Call came out, again, piggybacking off what you were getting into, the way everybody started to behave around that movie kind of broke Ghostbusters for me, because I was just like, there's no reason that Ghostbusters should elicit this kind of ugliness in any context.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the casting, even if you don't like the approach, even if the director is mouthing off at you. Like, there's no reason we all should be behaving in this ugly way about this movie when it's really not that big of a deal either way.
No.
And so it's like, I don't even really want to go back and watch Ghostbusters again anytime soon, because I'm sick of that taste that it left in my mouth. And so I feel like this new Ghostbusters movie is exactly what everybody wants. And that's a neat thing in one way. But the problem for me is it just starts to ultimately feel like I witnessed a temper tantrum that got rewarded with ice cream,
Yeah.
Because everybody threw a fit about what Answer the Call became. And it also wasn't a huge financial success. So, now we get this idealized version that could be cool, could be pandering. I don't know. If they do some kind of torch pass, I'm going to give the movie the benefit of the doubt either way. But honestly, I'm going to wait till I'm in the theater to have any thoughts on it other than these, because I'm just kind of sick of it overall,
I mean, like the rage and verbal abuse that comes from the toxicity, sure, evidently we don't care about Ghostbusters as much as other people do.
I watched the shit out of it growing up.
I love the first one. The first one is a classic. That's a
horror
great
comedy.
one.
Mm-hmm.
but the toxicity that comes from it, I'm just like,
guys, it's Ghostbusters.
I'm like, it's fucking Ghostbusters.
There is an unexplained ghost blowjob in that first movie.
It's like if they did a Hangover 4 without the original cast, and I'd be like, who gives a shit? Only the first one's
All right.
good.
Yeah, like, it's not like this is produced like a million amazing films. There's get out of the glory days. It was the 80s. We get it. Like, do something new.
Oh, it's zeroing out $10.
Woo!
Preach. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
That is 10 times what we would make from working hours on a cutting up that Zac Efron trailer.
Maybe we'll do it now. If enough people do super chats, we'll do that Zac Efron trailer to make up for what YouTube will inevitably take place. Damian Castro just wanted to say hey, and I miss HHN dearly as well. I miss all of you guys.
Thank you, zeroing out. That's very kind
That's
of you.
very kind of you indeed. Preach.
People think like, especially with the trailer ones, it's like the trailers, like we made a new rule of thumb that for when it comes to like if it's like a trailer that needs to get out right away, like John Wick or Spider-Man Far From Home. Even though Spider-Man Far From Home had a sketch that we spent. It's funny that sketch is only like 55 seconds long, but that took about an hour to shoot and then about 2.5 hours to cut
make
up.
that.
Yeah, it took a while.
An afternoon.
Yeah, it took like I had to cancel some shit to be like, no, they found the trailer's coming out. But like for the other trailers though, it's like, oh, we don't have time to edit this. It's like no one else is going to, so let's just get it up. Let's make sure we really give a review and be sharp when we're doing it. But for the like, we don't just react and say subscribe. So we like to make sure that our time is being valuable here. And so, yeah, if we talk about like how doing that just wouldn't be cost efficient, and if we simply don't care enough about the movie, we're just probably not going to do it, especially with the way algorithm works now. It's the way it is.
Yeah, we only have so many upload slots a day now, so we can't just do everything anymore.
Yeah. And that's why it's like we did have the Patreon too for that reward tier as well, because there's always requests coming in. So it's like, well, this will satisfy like the hardcore fans as well of the channel, but then also we primarily do still stick with what we want to do. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Aren't you a patron of ours, Nicole?
Gets.
I feel like we've seen her name on Patreon. I feel like we
have too. Yeah.
Sound off. We've never messaged each other, but have you seen her name in like comments or anything like that? Because John usually handles the comments on Patreon. I handle the messages.
I feel like I've seen you at least in the likes and stuff.
Well, Nicole, you've been really interactive here. I feel like Nicole's really trying to get us to watch that fucking trailer.
Well, I don't know.
Tell you what, Nicole, let's just play it right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a live reaction.
Let's just play it right now. If you happen to stay here till the end of the video, let's just play it right now. Since Nicole has asked for the $10, that's fine.
I'm just gonna Google Zac Efron Ted Bundy.
Yeah. No, it's
extremely shocking and incredibly evil.
Yeah, it was on our notifications. All right, start from the beginning.
Here we go. We're gonna full screen this shit.
And now the video is gonna be demonetized because of the company.
All right, if they manually review it this point.
That guy's been staring at you all night.
What do you say we get out of here?
What is it about this guy?
When I feel his love, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
There are things you don't know.
Hi, sir. I think I must be lost.
That will shock you beyond your worst nightmare. I am innocent. You actually believe this garbage, do you?
It's in all the papers, Ted.
Monkey! Oh!
How did his name get on that suspect list?
Look how cool Ted Bundy is.
I know. It's music.
This case is about catching a monster. Ladies and gentlemen, I am that innocent suspect.
You are skating.
John Malkovich.
Partner.
The media has convicted Ted before he's had his day in court.
I'm Gag. You're not.
I wonder whether he did it or not.
I'm more popular than Disney World.
Did you do these things?
I have a feeling this movie's
Absolutely not.
I feel this movie's gonna be a lot darker than what the trailers lead with.
I escaped you.
looks like, it looks like a case. I feel like it'd be easy to judge this movie based off of the trailer.
Yeah,
I feel like it'd be easy to judge it based off of the idea of like, oh, it's a movie that's glorifying a killer.
yeah.
In that capacity, but I really feel like that's a case of marketing.
JT. Sorry.
Hey, JT.
JT, what's up?
Shouldn't you be at Screen Junkies right now?
Shit working, man.
Yeah.
Get back on the board.
All right.
We gotta watch Blind Spot.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I haven't seen the movie Vice, but it kind of has
That
thing
attitude, yeah.
of just like, oh, another movie about a horrible guy.
Yeah, but it's
But
ironic.
look how
Look
cool
rock
it is.
Look how edgy it is.
Yeah, and I just don't. The thing is, I don't feel like Zac Efron is going to do a bad job in that. He looks insanely committed.
And he does. I said that thing about not losing him, and I don't know if I would, but his look as Ted Bundy, the more it went on, I was like, oh, okay, I get why he got cast for this.
I would still. It's the kind of thing where I'd be like, look what Zac Efron's doing.
Yeah.
Zac Efron's doing a good job. I feel like I would just be constantly reminding myself. Like I don't feel like I personally, maybe a lot of you guys will be able to. I feel like I would just be still aware, especially for a Ted. And first off, there's been a lot of like Ted Bundy movies.
There have been a lot of movies made about
There's been like
all the
Dahmer
serial
and Ted Bundy
killers.
movies. There's been a lot, right?
Yeah.
And at least the thing I'll give it credit for is it looks like it's trying to do something a little bit different with its tone,
Mhm.
at least.
Yeah.
But
And it looks like it's trying to at least maybe explore a little bit of just his life and not only going, let's watch him kill a lot of people.
and weirdly, as much as I could hop on the bandwagon side of Ted Bundy did these horrible things, and this is a trailer that's glorifying him. The part of the things that made Ted Bundy so unique from my memory of this, because clearly we didn't do any research before watching this. One of the things that made Ted Bundy so unique in terms of being a very popular serial killer was how like people seemed to really love him.
He was charming. He was handsome. He
insanely,
was
like,
articulate.
Like seeing those courtroom scenes are the things I remember hearing about Ted Bundy. The count, like a lot of serial killers got letters and stuff, but Ted Bundy especially got the love letters. People wanted to marry him. They thought he was a really good-looking guy. They thought he was very charming. So exploring this element of the manipulator of beyond, like, yeah, we know he's a crazy fucking psychopathic serial killer, but exploring the manipulator side of him
Mhm.
and how he gets people to love him and the charm is an element I think is intriguing in a certain aspect.
Mhm.
I still, I'm kind of like, yeah.
Well,
is that the movie really? Like, is it really gonna deliver on that, or is it gonna try to meet this like hybrid kind of like that thing where it's like, oh, we wanted to explore that side, but also like show he's like a fucked up serial killer side,
Yeah, man. I feel like this is one of those subgenres that's, I think, really hard to get because there are just so many not good movies about actual serial killers. And I feel like serial killer biopic is kind of like video game movie in the way that we're still trying to get one that's like truly great. Like the best one is a fiction, is Henry, Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Pause. Lisa, thanks for being here. She came from Movie Fights. Thank you, my dear.
What's up? Yeah.
And Charlotte, we have definitely noticed you. And see, Charlotte makes a great point. See, I've always kind of been curious to do certain reactions live because I like to see like immediately what people are saying. And girls and guys having a crush on Ted Bundy again is definitely not what we need.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't ever really think about will a movie influence an audience, there are people who are.
Yeah.
It might not be the majority of people,
Yeah.
but there usually is a little bit of people who will sometimes blame a movie or something for why they turned out a certain way. And I would say that is a point because already Ted Bundy was someone who was very much beloved in a weird, fucked up way. He was someone who people really loved. Not everyone, there were still people protesting, murder the fucking guy.
I noticed you, Jenna Rendell.
So yeah, we didn't put out Jenna.
Oh, did we? I don't know.
Hey, John.
Yeah, Zodiac. No, people are saying Zodiac, and the only asterisk I would add to that is that Zodiac isn't a biopic of that guy. It's about the people who are working on that case. Whereas this is Ted Bundy is like the central "we will spend time with him" figure. And the thing about this is, yeah, like I don't love serial killer culture. I know there are people who eat up
Whoa,
true crime.
zeroing out.
Whoa,
That's crazy.
hey, oh, well,
That's
hey,
a
have
good
a good
amount.
day. Much appreciated. Seriously, you're fucking awesome. Yeah, I don't.
Bona fide nipple for you, buddy. Bona fide nipple for you.
Little
This is how
gyration.
Ted Bundy got love.
Oh yeah,
So people,
he
look
showed
at
his nips.
look at my nipple right here.
A lot of it.
Aren't you glad he came from movie fights, Lisa?
I want somebody to
Nipples being like, man, he's got some nice tits.
and frivolous, non-functional.
Anyway,
So
oh yeah, keep going.
Ted Bundy. I just want to say one thing. Yeah, I don't.
Zeroing out. Thank you. Thanks for being here, buddy. And
Yeah,
like, you
seriously.
didn't even ask for anything. That's so super kind of you.
I
Thank
know.
you, dude.
Much love.
All right.
I don't love serial killer culture. I know there are a lot of people who like really eat up true crime and who do like just immerse themselves in the lives of like Charles Manson and whoever. That being said, out of all the serial killers out there, I have often found Ted Bundy to be one of the most fascinating because of the contrast that lived in that mind. And so the idea of a Ted Bundy movie is appealing and interesting to me. I don't necessarily love the tone that this trailer took because A, I'm confused, and B, if that's really the message they want to send out, like, fucking cool. I'm a little vexed by that. But yeah, my main concern is just like, I've yet to see a serial killer biopic really nail it and have its priorities in the right place.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. Like, which element is it really going to go down? You know?
Yeah, and I feel like Henry is a good earmark because Henry is like a really upsetting movie, but it has kind of a split between the shocking, violent part of his being a serial killer and just like this weird lifestyle kind of 70s-esque thing. I like the idea of what maybe some of the courtroom stuff in this movie will do, and I'm curious as to how they handle the murders because what I would say to this trailer's credit is that there's only really one visual, sequence we see of an ostensible murder, and so maybe it won't take every opportunity to be like, look how gory we're gonna be.
I like the edge to it of exploring the idea of why people like someone brought up Zodiac, okay? And Zodiac is not really about this because we never found out who the Zodiac killer was. So you can't do a biopic about who the Zodiac killer is.
Or the Black Dahlia killer.
So what Zodiac was cool about that is it's about people's obsession with a serial killer and how it essentially destroyed them internally over the course of several years. And the idea of exploring why people might have been obsessed with, it viewed Ted Bundy in this like fascinated, romanticized portrait, is interesting to me. I kind of don't want to sit through a movie that's making an argument for it. And if the movie's doing that, that's what I have more of a feeling the trailer's doing. See this? You see how long we're talking? This is shit that gets cut. Yeah, this is shit that gets cut down, guys.
I think the trailer's negligible in choosing a tone that doesn't ever recontextualize, so it mostly looks like it just wants to have swagger. And if the movie is trying to treat it like that, I would be put off by that.
Alfie Kia says, "Why are you both so ugly?" I mean, genetics, and also, like
bad choices.
I'm sorry, you're clearly with your profile photo, you are a prime example of what our look should aspire to be like. Clearly, you must be so attractive for you to show off your handsome, good looks that much.
I will get a haircut just because you suggested that, Benjamin Kalikos. I don't do anything until people instruct me in the comments. So if you want me to do something, just comment it, and I will live my life by your standard. Oh, thanks, Lisa Mortine. Lisa doesn't think we're ugly.
Ah, thanks.
We can both be a charming serial killer.
You're talking to both of us, right?
I will assume so.
Just John.
Greg is still ugly. All right, everybody, sound off in the comments who they think is more attractive. All right, Charlotte, since you said the thing last, I won't get a haircut. I'm going by the last thing I read.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of DC Marvel? I dark horse all the way.
Man, there's still 87 people here. This
Hey
is
man,
crazy.
we got to get this going
Who
until we
stays this long? This long?
we gotta keep this going until we drop to 50. And we will
This
get.
is crazy.
Oh, man.
Oh man. Well, the viewers on a live stream, I've noticed I try not to get discouraged by it. It's the people always hop in and out of a live stream. I do it. I don't ever sit there. I've never sat through a whole live stream.
These
Yeah.
live streams are always
Yeah.
always longer than the things you spend actual time on YouTube doing. So.
Thanks, Steve. I really did my best on that movie fights, and what was
Yeah,
cool is I learned a big lesson in that of like it's more about than not so much about winning. It really was like a Rocky Balboa moment for me of just like the amount of respect and praise I still got for at least putting up a good fight with the champ.
That's what I was hoping for.
For Dan to say like this, that was the hardest he's ever had to work, was like
You fucking went the distance.
that was the reward.
You went the distance.
I would rather have, in a weird way, I was like, it would have been great to win, but in a weird way, I feel like him saying that to me was more rewarding than
That's
me
the
holding
victory.
the belt and him being upset by that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, no, if anything, I learned this game from you. I became a fan of the show because of you. So to hear that is actually what I could have asked for.
Yeah,
that was the main thing I could have wanted.
And to have such a straightforward trajectory into this championship. I mean, you jumped back into the league like the beginning of last year and then just kind of, worked your way straight up. And I got to imagine that, if you got to lose a championship to somebody, it ought to be to the person you learned the game from. And then to get the champ, giving you a compliment is like, yeah, you got to feel good,
Yeah.
But you
and
really went the distance.
he's a very nice guy. Like he's an intimidating guy to like play anything against, but he's also a very, very nice guy.
Yeah, because he's also got that like calm, like directness,
Yeah.
which is a little.
Well, he's a fucking hell of a listener. Like
Yeah,
he's
he
a
taking
hell
notes.
of a listener.
That's the thing I was noticing too. Is he's like taking notes part of the
No, when he was taking notes, I was like, shit, I should be writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time he wrote something down, I'm like, what is he writing?
What is he doing?
I always had this mental thought of what's he writing right now?
He wasn't actually even writing anything you were saying. It was just to psych you out.
Well, there were times he was just kind of scribbling. Just like, I think sometimes that just helps.
Yeah,
Just like thought processing. Yeah.
It's business to keep your mind kind of clear.
I know we said at the 50-minute mark we'd only be here for 10 more minutes, but
Let's make this a solid 90.
Yeah.
We got 9 more minutes.
We got 9 more minutes. A solid 90. We're getting out of here.
All right.
John is a heartthrob rock pirate, obviously.
Oh yeah, I steal things on the
Obviously.
high sea frequently.
Obviously.
Waffles or pancakes, Greg? You're a breakfast guy. We used to
I
make
have shakes
pancakes.
in the morning.
Waffle flavored
I have
shake or
health shakes
pancake
in the
flavored shake?
morning. I would say pancakes. Yeah, definitely say pancakes.
Yeah, too many pancakes.
Pancakes for sure. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Any tips on losing weight? Trying to lose weight for my sister's wedding next October. Ooh. See this little finger? This is good for men and women to apply. It's all up here first.
I admire your timing. Good timing. I appreciate you about your timing.
You all thought I was going to stick my finger down my throat, which I did to lose weight. No, I would. I would definitely say. Well, everyone has a different body type. First off, I had to learn that. Not just because one diet works for someone doesn't mean another diet will work for someone else. But it primarily is what you eat. But you do have to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think you got to go like intense with exercising, but it could start off with just walking for something as simple as walking for like 20 minutes a day.
Consistency is more important than intensity.
One act of discipline affects all acts of discipline. And as skinny as John is now, I remember through like junior high and all through high school, looking at John's photos is fascinating because he had this like crazy like weight fluctuation thing that happened. And then there was a few years ago where you kind of just like stayed skinny.
I slimmed down and then I just got there.
Yeah. You just kind of just stayed there.
Yeah.
And but him and I have like different eating
Changed a
habits
lot of
for
habits.
sure. Like as I work out like 5 to 6 days a week, which involves a lot of weightlifting now. And so I have like John has like a weird eat pattern.
Yeah.
You eat like once and then Tacos at night usually is what
I'll
you do.
usually, I mean, I don't have the greatest health habits in certain ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have like a pastry and a coffee in the morning and a dinner at night.
You know what? I'm going to give you some advice in reverse, Rigo. You have to know why you want to lose weight first. That's the all determining factor. For anyone who's been following the channel, you'll know that for years I was a lot heavier. Okay, I was a lot heavier. At least like 40 to 50 pounds heavier. And the thing with that, of course, that entire time I wanted to lose weight. You think I was happy being that way? Of course, that entire time I wanted to lose weight. But the thing is, I hit a point where I figured out why I want to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, you're always going to have obstacles presented to you where there's the always tomorrow excuse. And then when you get to a certain point of why you got to do it, then you eventually, it's like, because nothing has meaning unless nothing really
has meaning without like a solid motivation.
Yeah. And we assign the meaning for everything. We assign it. It's one thing to go, I want to be healthier. Why do you want to be healthier? For me, I personally feel like I'm sharper. I feel like I'm more creative. I feel like I do a better
self-esteem is better.
For movie fights yesterday. The first thing I did was I meditated and then I worked out. I worked out really hard because I'm like, that releases endorphins, helps me feel sharper. I feel more relaxed. So I'm going to do that. And like there are many whys as to why I consistently work out now. There was always the motivation to lose weight. Now I don't really focus on weight loss. It's like sometimes I lose weight, sometimes I gain weight. Like literally last week I was 10 pounds lighter, but it doesn't show in my body because there's always like a weird thing with weightlifting. And then there's a weird thing with like water intake. So looking at the scale can like psych you out and make you think, have I gotten fatter? But I'm like, but then people are saying I'm looking thinner. So it's confusing. So you just got to know why you want to be healthier. That's the main thing. You got to know what the benefits are. A lot of the time, when people want to get rid of something, and I'll let you speak. It's like, Sean, I'm sorry. I just got been talking so much. A lot of the time when people want to get better at something because they think what they currently have is a problem, they usually focus a lot on researching why this is a bad thing and what it can lead to. And I think that's important, super important to know that. But I also think it's important to look up the benefits of doing something. That way you have a hope and a positive outcome to look forward to, as opposed to I don't want to get diabetes, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to have a heart attack. Like
that's a broad lesson I've had to learn across life. Is it's easy to focus on all the things you don't want, but you have to counterbalance that with the things that you want instead.
Yeah.
And that's a big important part that a lot of people forget.
You have to know the negative effects, and then you have to know what the positive benefits are by committing to it. And so knowing why is the most important thing you can do with anything in life, really. Yeah. But if you want to talk about losing weight, knowing why you want to lose weight or be healthier, that's like, you can be shallow about it in the beginning if you want. Hey, Lindsay Lane. Hey, if you want to know about it in the beginning, like for the wedding, like, just be honest with yourself. Do you want to feel like I'm better looking? Are you single and you want to meet someone at the wedding? Like if that motivates you enough as your why, then fucking go for it and just keep that in mind,
Yeah, totally. Well, and I think one thing that can help also that I've just found over time is, even though my eating habits aren't great, one thing I've learned is that if you find a certain amount of things that you don't mind eating very frequently that are kind of in line with, your goal. That's why I eat tacos for dinner most nights, because I'm like, this is pretty simple in terms of what I'm actually putting into it, but I can make it taste really good. I can get a little bit of variety in what I decide to dress it with, and I have it portion controlled and it's all set up. So in that way, if you find a couple of those, and I think your diet throughout the day is pretty, like a lot of the time, and then you'll, have a cheat on the weekends or whatever.
Yeah. Or after movie fights, because I felt tired.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like, as much as it doesn't sound like fun to get on a routine of eating, that can also be a big help. And I've lost weight in multiple ways throughout my life, some of which have been healthy and some of which have been less than healthy. But when I was, in the healthiest version of that was a key element, is I found certain things that I didn't mind eating every day. Yeah. And just kept those things around. And that also helps you with your budget too. because then you wind up kind of having a similar
That's another
grocery
thing.
list all the time.
Actually, yeah. Like the weird excuse I always hear with people saying like it's expensive to be healthy. I'm like, if you're disciplined enough, it's actually so much cheaper to be healthy.
Yeah.
It really is. If you can like learn to cook from home, like that used to be my excuse. I'll admit that used to be like, that's why we get like fucking fast food all the time.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, it's quicker, and it's more expensive to be healthy because I care so much about taste. But if you can get inventive, like for me, yeah. Thanks, Michael. Michael B's here. What's up, homie?
Well, that's the thing, Lisa, though, that those tacos, each one's different, man. I dress them all different ways. I put different ingredients in each one. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, variety is key. And I'm a child of variety. I guess I've learned to kind of build fun foods out into specific occasions more than anything. But you can still have variety. Also, just what's up, Master B? It's good to see you. I will have to check your Instagram posts. I'm terrible at using social media, but it's always a pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah.
I like you, man.
I'm not aiming to become an Instagram model. I really do it because I feel better. Yeah.
Are you really Peter North?
But yeah, we're gonna sound off right now. But hey, thank you guys to everyone who's been here. We prepping movie fights can be kind of a stressful experience, always leading up to it, and then you kind of have to let it all go before you're about to play. It's kind of like acting, like you do a lot of homework, then you gotta let it go when you're doing the scene. And like movie fights on Wednesday was, I got the questions at like 7:30 p.m. was up to like 3 a.m. And then I had to car out the whole day. So we got a lot. There's like stuff I got to catch up on editing. We got Patreon to do's. We got a lot of things to shoot for Patreon and a lot of things to honor right now.
Back on track.
So yeah, we got a lot to keep going. But thank you guys for being here. We like doing the live streams. We do.
Those are fun, yeah.
We find them more fun, and we like. I don't know. I like doing more conversation-based things.
Yeah.
And I enjoy doing someone asked me the other day, Gregory Bullock at Patreon asked me, like, do you like doing reactions? I'm like, yeah, most of the time I do like doing the reactions. I wish more people stayed after the reaction. But the fact of the matter is they don't. And then we get lumped in this category of we like all we do is fucking react. And I'm like, that's just not true.
If you look,
that hate comment doesn't really faze me anymore because I know that's not true.
I'm just like, oh, you didn't watch.
But like doing discussions like this is like when you're live on the spot, or like doing movie fights. I love doing that because I'm like, I told you, it's always just another chance to prove we can do more than
just react to stuff.
Then go, ha, that looks cool. Or we don't know. That's going to be good. So for the few people, like out of the thousands of subs we have, for the few people that watch us based off that percentage, thank you for watching here. You guys are awesome.
Thanks to Lisa Mortini for subscribing.
And Lisa, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Lindsay, thanks for being here.
All you guys, Master B.
You guys, Master B, all of constant interactions, and to all the people who contributed in the super chat, zeroing out. You've been bomb. Nicole,
Amy,
fucking great. Love you guys. But yeah, we got some shit to handle. Check us out on Patreon if you can, and we'll catch you guys soon. In stream.